Coming up in the bulletin, Minister for Lands and Natural Resources announces revocation of all small-scale mining licenses issued after December 7, 2024, citing irregularities in the issuance process. We will get to some stakeholders for comments. Hello again, welcome to the Bulletin, and we are live on Facebook at Metro TV Ghana and also on DSTV channel 277. Let's get right into the stories. And the minority in Parliament has accused the national security operatives led by Richard Jakpa, who raided the home of former Bank of Ghana Governor Dr. Ernest Addison, of stealing 10,000 Ghana cedis cash belonging to the former Bank of Ghana boss and gold earrings and necklaces belonging to his wife. The majority leader, Alexander Ahwenyomakin, who made these claims at a press conference, observed the increasing rate of homes of appointees of the previous government is reducing investor confidence, calling on President John Dramani Mahama to deal with the situation.
At dawn yesterday, specifically at 5 a.m., Mr. Richard Jakpa was at it again. This time, he led armed men to the residence of Dr. Addison, the former governor of the Central Bank. According to Jakpa, he had a warrant to search the premises of Dr. Addison at his Roman Ridge residence. Again, when Dr. Addison inquired from him, he told him that he was looking for a vault, which to them, the man had some money, cash in it. They forced their way, overpowered the security, and entered his premises. This Rambo-style approach must cease. This is the first time in the history of our country that a governor of a central bank is being subjected to such a treatment. Very traumatizing. In fact, at the end of their raid, they could not find anything. Unfortunately for the governor, some 10,000 cedis on his bed could not be found. So some of these hungry party foot soldiers that they use, who parade themselves as national security operatives, after all, perhaps not even being paid, and they use this opportunity to steal. The governor's wife's earrings and necklaces were also not traced. They couldn't be found. In other words, those operatives stole these earrings and necklaces.
Well, we'll still stay on this particular issue as the New Patriotic Party has condemned what it describes as unlawful arrest and detention of journalist Okatachi Efrifa Mensah by operatives of the National Security. According to the statement from the party, the arrest is because Okatachi Efrifa Mensah has been critical of the John Mahama administration. Here, excerpts of the statements from the New Patriotic Party, as you see on your screen, and says that New Patriotic Party condemns the unlawful arrest of veteran journalist Okatachi Efrifa Mensah. This unlawful action by the marauding operatives of the National Security is the latest installment of the ongoing series of state-sponsored attacks on the media by the NDC government in their desperate attempt to silence the media and curtail press freedom. The party condemns in no uncertain terms this state-sponsored lawlessness and condemns the many well-meaning Ghanaians who spoke loudly against this shameful conduct by the National Security. We also commend the young people and the team of lawyers who stormed the National Security Secretariat this evening, that was last night, to see to the release of the abducted journalist. Continues that the NPP wishes to remind President Mahama and his government that the country that was bequeathed to him on January 7, 2025 was a free country. It was the bastion of democracy, underpinned not only by the existence of functioning democratic institutions, but also by our unflinching commitment to upholding press freedom as enshrined in Chapter 12 of the 1992 Constitution. In line with this commitment, the country also went through the painstaking process of repealing the criminal and seditious libel law in 2001, a process that was spearheaded by the immediate past president, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, who was then the Attorney General of the Republic. It is therefore completely repugnant and unacceptable for the John Mahama administration to be using state security to intimidate political opponents as well as media personnel in a bid to silence all critical voices. This, in fact, is an egregious affront to our democratic and constitutional tenets. We call on the Ghana Journalists Association, the Media Foundation of West Africa, civil society organizations and all stakeholders to join us in demanding an immediate cessation of this tyranny and growing culture of state-sponsored attacks on the media. Enough is enough, and that's signed by the General Secretary of the party, Justin Kodia Frimpong. And so that was the statement from the NPP regarding the arrest of Okatachi Efrifa Mensah. And still on that, the Ghanaian media personality has been freed after his arrest by security operatives sparked nationwide condemnation, particularly from opposition leaders and press freedom advocates. The For the Records host was taken into custody on Wednesday, March 19, under unclear circumstances, prompting the opposition New Patriotic Party to denounce the move as an assault on democracy. Efrifa Mensah's arrest stoked concerns about political intolerance and the shrinking space for free expression in Ghana. Minority Leader and Ifutu MP Alexander Hapenyomakin also criticized the development, warning against the using state security to intimidate government critics. Now, we'll bring you more details of that subsequently, but for now, let's talk about the murder of Ahmed Suale some 6 years ago, and the Ghana Journalists Association, GJA, has commended the Ghana Police Service for the arrest of a suspect in connection with the murder of investigative journalist Ahmed Suale. The suspect, Daniel Owusu-Kranting, was arraigned before the Medina District Court on Wednesday, March 19, 2025. The court remanded him into police custody with a scheduled reappearance on April 1, 2025. And so that was a statement from the Ghana Journalists Association commending the Ghana Police Service for the arrest of Daniel Cranton, a suspect in the murder of investigative journalist Ahmed Suale. We're moving from that to Bawku, where the majority leader and member of parliament for Bawku Central, Mahama Ayariga, has strongly condemned the military's brutal actions in the area, which resulted in the abuse of innocent civilians, including women, children and old men. The MP for Bawku Central denounced the military's behavior, stating that it was unacceptable and demanded that those responsible be held accountable. The majority leader called for an independent investigation into the alleged abuses and emphasized the need for the military to be held accountable for any human rights violations.
I express my sincere condolences to the family, and I've urged the law enforcement agencies, the military, the police, to work with the community leaders to try and investigate and identify the person behind this unwarranted, gruesome exercise of killing a soldier who has come to help us maintain peace in the place. Mr. Speaker, it is equally not right for the soldiers since last night to invade homes, meeting places, market, where market women are going about their daily chores and beating up everybody, assaulting, injuring women, old men, children, anybody who hasn't run away and is still in the town is being beaten up by the soldiers. So, Speaker, I condemn in no uncertain terms the conduct of the military detachment there. I want to bring the full weight of this House behind a plea to them to stop what they are doing immediately and withdraw back into their barracks, because beating up everybody in the town, destroying television sets and fridges, destroying bicycles and cooking implements and etc., will not bring back to life the young man that we have unfortunately lost. But then it also will dent the image of the military as an organization that is supposed to be used to protect citizens. It is not your duty to be the source of assaulting, beating, maiming innocent citizens.
And on this incident in Bawku, we are working the lines to reach Richard Kumado, who is a security analyst, to help us understand what is happening in the area and how we can solve the issues there. As and when we get him on the line, we will speak to him. But for now, let's go to the police service, where the Inspector General of Police, Christian Tetayono, has called for a revamped police communication system. He emphasized the need to have the service to have open communication, protect sensitive information and counter false narratives. The IGP made these remarks at a 3-day PR workshop for police regional PROs. The workshop aims to equip PROs with the new administration's vision.
Under my leadership, we'll reactivate and invite all regional police public affairs offices to interact and meet the evolving demands of our society and media partners. Over the years, the media has been a key stakeholder in crime fighting efforts and has influenced public perceptions of our work in numerous ways. Therefore, it is imperative that our engagement with the media be intentional, professional, and instructive, strictly aligned with police directives, particularly Service Instruction Number 7 SI 7, which provides clearly the guidelines for this engagement. As police public affairs officers, we are responsible for managing the relationship between the service and the media, always guided by the core values and ethical standards of the Ghana Police Service. My 3 pillars to you going forward include: 1. It is our responsibility to protect the confidentiality and integrity of sensitive information while balancing this duty with the need to remain as open and transparent as possible. 2. Ensure that your interactions with the media adhere to the highest standards of credibility, integrity, and impartiality. And finally, ensure consistency in our messaging across all regions and units. Given your vast experience and competencies in fulfilling this duty, I have no doubt that you will remain resolute and responsive to the times.
And we go back to our earlier story about the happenings in Bawku and speak to security analyst Richard Kumado. He joins us now on phone for more on this. Hello, sir. Good afternoon. Thank you very much for your time. The latest incident that happened in Bawku has got a lot of people talking, and residents, we understand, are being brutalized by the military, and some of them are even going into their homes. Why is this happening?
If you don't address me properly by my designation, we will not be doing interview in 2025. I'm not a security analyst. Let your producers give you my right designation. Having said that, in the conflict in Bawku, we've said it over and over again, that once you have military officers in civilian conflict and you want the military officers to maintain peace, then the question we need to ask is, are they fighting to maintain the peace, or they are enduring the carnage, which says that one day we will get up and everything will be fine? These are soldiers. And this is what they do, and this is what they know. I'm of the view that the security arrangement in Bawku is wrong, the methodology is wrong, and it is a high time the new security chief simply will need to review the approach we are using if we don't want the casualties. Other than that, people will keep on falling within a crossfire, whether military officers are being killed or they go to town on rampage. Let's take the military out of the place and ensure that the police are leading the way.
Okay,
to the extent that we have them there almost all the time, my brother, I can tell you for a fact that these are some of the results we are going to get.
And that was what I was coming to, that you mentioned that things need to change. What exactly are the key things that need to change in the area so we can make progress?
We need to review the security methodology. Number 2, we need to review the approach. And number 3, we will need to look at this whole arrangement of which security does what and at where and within what time limit. Then exactly what they are there to do. I believe that some of them has been there for far too long. Fatigue has set in, and the personal motivation to do the job is not there. And we also know, if we don't want to lie about it, we know that you don't use soldiers in civilian conflict. They will shoot and kill somebody. That is the way they have been trained. The new security chiefs at the military hierarchy are aware of this. We are all aware. So if you don't want deaths, either on the side of the military or on the side of the civilian, take the military out of the place.
Okay.
Or have a way to say that if the military is doing some other job, maybe in counter-terrorism, in the face of the threat we are facing from Sahel, then redefine their role for them. But if you put them in front of civilians, in the kind of conflict we are talking about, where those with the traditional aspect of the conflict are moving too slow, these are some of the excesses of security breaches you are going to face. And it's either civilians are dying or soldiers are dying. And it is a straightforward something we all know from day one.
Okay. The president, upon getting into office, went to Bawku, and he's mentioned that he's committed to making sure that peace prevails. How does this set or becomes a setback to all that maybe progress that we have made, since he came into office?
We have never made any progress.
Okay.
When President Mahama came to office, you remember a whole bus and human beings were burnt at Wale Wale. That was the first calm message they gave him. So on the 6th month, he made a passionate appeal And he said they should look at him as one of them, as their brother, their nephew, they are everything. And appeal to conscience that the killing must stop. There are two things we are talking about here. We are talking about tradition, we are talking about chieftaincy, we are talking about culture, inheritance, and self-determination. It has nothing to do with security.
Okay.
To the extent that those assigned with those responsibilities are not moving fast, which is also part of the way they mediate and many of these things, it's creating unnecessary public safety challenges for the communities there. And you put in police. Police doesn't fight for peace when it comes to, tradition and culture. And you even went to court. Supreme Court gave a judgment. There has not been any counter judgment for that. It did not help us. It means that we are not doing something right. Okay. I am just saying that with the security chiefs he has appointed recently, as part of their review with the president, they will need to look at the security arrangements again and the methodologies we have used for all this while. The approach has not given us the result. If it had, we wouldn't be talking about many of the things we are talking about now.
I also want to understand from you, for the people in the area, what they may be going through at this point, knowing that nothing really substantive is being done to solve the issue.
It's unfortunate for them. It's an unfortunate situation, but this is where we find ourselves. Most of us have our families at Bawku, and that's why we are appealing to everybody, the security chiefs and those with the responsibility, with the tradition, the culture, the inheritances, and the core issues that is triggering this insecurity will have to be speed up. And it has to be said frankly, because everywhere in this country, there are issues about chieftaincy, there are issues about culture. This is a peculiar situation that needed to be looked at differently and in a manner that will promote peace and will not ask ourselves to be killing ourselves almost every now and then. It's unfortunate, but this is what we are faced with.
All right, so Mr. Richard Kumado, thank you very much for talking to us. And just to get your portfolio right, you're a fraud prevention expert and security consultant. That's right.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much for talking to us. We really do appreciate that. And you heard Richard Kumado speaking to us about the happenings in Bawku, where we understand that some military officers have been brutalizing residents in the area. And that's all for the news updates this afternoon on Good Afternoon Ghana. I am Desmond Krekudan. We're taking a break. When we come back, Emmanuel Kusifriye will take over with Business Edge today on the show. Please stay with us. We'll be back shortly.
Ama, na semi general well-being enkoye kwao. Ama maye bohu se kontomra akija.
Na semi ho se me nyo basima kura. Ama me kunu ne me into kwankwa. Oh you why? Enye mo go. Give us GC lecture and any capsules. Aye numbum. En ho asem na mo kana. Ebua emma ene meme nyina. Na ma wo ba ye obesima. Na be ma so aye be mesima. Yeah, we be Bawku. I'm an giant sow with the shelly bottom. No, when you yan and into session, you owe you chop one.
Give us help, give us help, give us help,
give us GC mixture and then a capsule.
A pin for a batter, one more menu for one and Kwada when if you do me.
Attention all farmers, are you ready to take your crops to the next level? Introducing 3 effective organic composts that will revolutionize your farming practices. ACAP, KCAP and IRICOP brings to you the ultimate solution for your fertilizer needs. Introducing the ACAP Grade A, KCAP Equiafua Jinkwa and the IRICOP with cocoa blend, palm blend and mulch. These are made from locally sourced municipal solid waste, and these are the perfect choice for sustainable farming. Join the organic revolution today. Boost your crop yield, improve soil health, and support sustainable farming practices. Choose ACAP, KCAP, and IRICOP organic compost for a greener and bountiful harvest. For your purchase and more information, call the numbers on your screen. Our products are endorsed by Cocobot, Planting for Food and Jobs, and the Ministry of Food and Agriculture.
Right, good afternoon. Thank you very much for joining us this hour. This is the Business Edge on the Bottom Line, and I've told you would keep seeing me every afternoon, specifically on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and we'll do all the analysis in the business sector of the country, whether it's political or the economy or the transport sector or agric and so on and so forth. But before we do proper introductions and what's going to happen, I'll give you the lineup of the afternoon pretty shortly. Before we do that, Desmond, I specifically requested that you don't go yet.
Yeah.
And thank you for staying back. I understand that you had some of the news team visit a place in Accra called Glefe to assess some sanitation situation there. And we have come from a period where we wanted Accra, where we wanted the main cities across the country to observe or to be seen as the cleanest cities in Accra or in West Africa and Africa. I think that agenda should still be on. But what exactly is happening? You want to talk to us about it?
Definitely. It's a very important agenda that we need to set. And so my colleague, Sechi Saki, went to Glefe where he spoke to some residents in the community, and that is in the Ablekuma West constituency here in the Greater Accra region. And they are calling on government to abolish the use of landfill sites in the country as waste disposal centers. And they're saying that this practice is negatively affecting their health. I mean, talking about those residents in the communities where these landfill sites are located. And so let's get the story.
As far as we are concerned, we know it's a problem. The last rains, when they came, we went to sympathize with the people after the elections, after we've won. I've been there twice. But the good news is that, as we speak, yesterday, I had a meeting with the coordinating director. And what we intend to do, we are going to dredge the Jatakpo, so at least the water reservoir can be a little bigger to prevent the water from overflowing over the banks. But the long-term solution, as yesterday we were looking at, because we had also brought some experts from China to come look at it, that we may have to reclaim the land, because looking at the quantum of refuge, we don't know where we're going to collect them and take. So we'll probably convert it into a usable land for us to be able to have a good project over there. And notwithstanding, if you look properly, when you're at where the site you are referring to, you look onto the eastern part of it, there's another field over there that we gradually were able to get it stopped, and that land will be reclaimed. And so generally we are going to dredge from the Agbevu Lagoon all the way to the culvert, which is also too small for the passage of water, and then we'll dredge the Jatakpo. And this will be doing it in collaboration with Pambros Salt Company. We've met with their leadership and they're going to support us. just this morning, as we speak, the municipal is working on getting drip machines, those that can be used over there to start dredging it.
The Glefe landfill site, which started as a refuse dumping site by residents some 4 years ago, has now developed into a landfill where refuse collected from adjoining communities and parts of the Greater Accra region by waste collectors are being deposited. The landfill site sits on the bank of a lagoon that connects smaller water bodies into the ocean, but has now been encroached by the landfill and other human activities, reducing the lagoon to a mere gutter. A phenomenon residents say creates severe flooding anytime there is a downpour. Speaking to Metro News, some residents say the stench that emanates from the landfill is unbearable and fear for their health.
The
landfill breeds a lot of mosquitoes. When it rains, the place gets flooded with plastic waste from the dumping site. We will be glad if authorities can do something about the situation. They should dredge the lagoon for us and stop the dumping of refuge.
Assemblyman is sorting now onye juma baku wanu yen kan kre onye juma baku wanu o ma ebre wanu pa.
Bola no de se be ha adwini de ha adwini se bola no de wo sro mai. The slow na one my no since you to a etumi bon Roberts na about got and na asigot and says got and says so to a and to me call ye my this yes etumi bufa got and na concro for dan na kuko so what I say na hankro for nyama say so to got and so I say so I the way river and a boom. This is an yama bibri more na back on so to me basa na back one so bridge in one so you know.
So that was Glefe, a community here in the Greater Accra region where there's some issues. The residents saying that they do not want the landfill sites because it is affecting their health. And also we heard from the Member of Parliament for Ablekuma West, Reverend Kwekuado, when it was being questioned about what is going to be done about the situation. So it's very, very important that we talk about these things as part of our bit to talk about sanitation, rid our streets of filth. Yeah, we definitely do that. That's our Tidy GH segment here on the show. So I can see very important that we hear from authorities about some of these things. At the end of the day, they are the ones in authority. They can make the moves. They can get things moving. And so it's important that we hear from them. We heard from Reverend Kwekuado, the MP for the area.
First of all, I think that it's a very noble campaign that you guys have begun embarking on. And you call it what? Tidy GH? Tidy
GH, yeah.
I think it's a very noble campaign, especially when the Ministry of Sanitation has been scrapped by government. However, there is a Ministry of Local Government, which is supposed to take charge of it, and we need to make sure that they get on this. Maybe Jospon. Of course, I have the biases because of Jospon. Jospon should specifically get into this. Maybe Zoom Lion directly should get into this because we've seen the Accra compost plant. We've seen some of the recycling, the Zoom Park, for example, and the recycling centers that they are setting up to be able to take care of filth and some of these things that are happening and not allow waste to be in the open with the emanation of all of this, what we will call the nuisance, coming to the environmental impact and so on and so forth. It should be taken seriously.
And the consequences thereof is very, very dire on the health of the residents. So we definitely want the authorities to get to work on this particular one. So that's a Glefe. We'll be doing much more on Metro TV, so make sure that you join us for the Tidy GH segment.
Right, so that was Desmond bringing us a news update on the business edge. Right here on Good Afternoon Ghana. And I told you earlier on that when it's Tuesday and Thursday afternoons, it's specifically business. We get into the space of business and we discuss all the trends, we discuss all the updates from the commodities market, from the forex trading market, and all of the places that you can look at thinking about business. This afternoon, we have two major items to be talking about. The first one, of course, which would end the show for the afternoon, is our discussion with the Minister for Jobs, Labour and Employment, Honorable Rashid Pelpo, who is also the Member of Parliament for the Wa Central constituency. We have had an engagement with him and we asked him very specific questions. We threw the question of his concern and his mindset about the fact that the government has come on the promise of increasing jobs, creating about 1 million jobs, and we are still having some appointments revoked by the government. Where are we heading towards with this? We had the opportunity to also ask him about government's focus on agric. The fact that a lot of economic attention has turned to the production in oil and the jobs that come with it, and then the once agri-based economy, which contributed to a greater percentage or proportion of the GDP, we are now relying technically on oil and so on and so forth. Lots of questions that we asked him. The Youth Employment Agency, of course, in partnership with the ministry, want to bring up what they call the Work Abroad program, or maybe, let's say, revamp what the Youth Employment Agency has as a Work Abroad program. We asked him about that. And we asked him also about what numbers he will be telling us about, maybe by the end of the year or by the middle of the year, as to they being, or the government being able to create. The young people in Ghana need jobs. So that interview is coming up pretty shortly. And then let me ask you this, and that's what we are beginning with. Do you know about blockchain? Have you been monitoring the international space? Have you been monitoring the page of, let's say, Elon Musk and all of the people that are very much interested in technology, interested in AI? Have you considered how to make money with blockchain and all of these issues? There are too many people who have heard about this and don't understand what it is and want to know. People have told us about how they have invested and made lots of profits and so on and so forth. This afternoon, we want to delve into that, and that's the beginning of the show for the afternoon. We want to delve into that and see what exactly is it. Maybe if we have some more questions, we'll ask them. And I have two gentlemen right here with me in the studio to discuss that. Let me begin with the man on my left. Kwame Stalwart is the convener, Blockchain Builders Association of Ghana. I hope I'm right, Kwame.
Yes, you are.
Good afternoon, and thank you very much for joining us. And then we have Eric Annan is the Chief Executive Officer, Aya HQ, and I got that right as well. So good afternoon, thank you very much for joining me, gentlemen. But let me begin with you, Kwame, or let me begin with you. You are the convener.
Sure.
You are the convener. I'll begin with you to ask what exactly all of this is about.
Yeah, so thank you very much. When it comes to blockchain, the internet that we are using has experienced several iterations. And then we have what we call Web 1, which was there before. That's in the early 2000s. Currently, the internet that we are using, we call that Web 2. And then blockchain technology is also known as Web 3. So blockchain technology is the next era of the internet. We call that the Internet of Value. So just to start from the beginning, Web 1, for example, Facebook. When Facebook started, it was just a read-only static page. So that was Web 1. And now I can send messages and then view someone's post, call the person on Facebook. So that's Web 2, read and then write only. In Web 3...
Web 1 is just the access.
Yeah, so with that, you just see the post is a static website.
Okay.
So that was like the first iteration of the internet. Then you come to Web 2, for example, Facebook, Instagram, and then these other sites that we see, where I can watch, I can read, and I can also write.
Make calls. The videos and the
make calls. It's interactive.
Yes,
so that's
interactive.
the interactive web,
Right.
just like we are seeing now. Then we have Web 3, where whatever I post, I can actually read, I can write, I can own, and also transfer value over borders. So I can own whatever I put there, I can read, I can write, and also if I want to transfer value to any part of the world, I can actually do that.
So you have, in fact, my producer has just put on for me what Web3 is, but I think we should get back to that. She has some details of what we are talking about. Let's see it maybe briefly on the screen, and then we'll come back to your proper explanations. Let me see if I can try and read this. It says the blockchain, the global tech gold mine. And I would want you to explain when we come back why you say it's the gold mine. I've been monitoring Elon Musk's space, and he's been writing about some of these things all the time. But you would have to explain to us, and when I come to you, please do me the honors. Why you think it is a gold mine? An extract from Aya HQ. Well, so this is from you. You are telling us the lessons and opportunities. You say around the world, nations are unlocking the potential of blockchain. Singapore, Dubai, and Switzerland have positioned themselves as hubs by implementing forward-thinking policies, attracting global talent, and fostering innovation. Now, Africa cannot afford to sit on the sidelines, but Ghana must not only participate, we must differentiate. And you will explain to us what do you mean by that. Now, Ghana, ranking among the top African nations with a 90% crypto. Well, so what we have heard too much about is the cryptocurrency, and even what the Bank of Ghana had wanted to maybe either regulate or give us an e-currency. I remember that as well. Maybe you are the expert. You may want to explain that to us when we come to that. So please note the points for me because I am reading. Then you will be able to. The e-currency Bank of Ghana wanted to introduce. What's the level with that? So Ghana ranking among the top African nations with a 90% crypto transaction pass rate is well positioned to capitalize on this trend. Now, our unique strengths, Africa's most stable democracy, a country with a peaceful and structured rule of law, a welcoming environment for investment, and an open door policy for Africans and global entrepreneurs give us an unparalleled opportunity to position Ghana as the most attractive and trusted hub for blockchain, digital assets, special economic zones, robust network state, and crypto-like bank to warehouse both global and African blockchain startups. So this is very loaded. Do we have some more? Maybe in the discussion we'll specifically come back to this slide. But we have some more. If we can go to the next one. Yes, please, let's go to the next one. And this is where you ask the question about what the Web3 is. So I'll begin that with you, as you have explained to us what the Web1 is, Web2, and then now what it is. So please move ahead because we'll give him this slide, and then he will go ahead to explain to us. According to a Binance and Pulse survey, Ghana is already at the forefront of cryptocurrency and blockchain adoption on the continent, demonstrating a deep understanding of their benefits, use cases, and potential. In fact, Ghana ranked 9th out of 27 countries in crypto adoption, with over 900,000 Ghanaians, approximately 3.01% of the population owning cryptocurrency. Owning. The organic demand for the digital assets is undeniable. So let's see the other slides. Now, this framework is not just about technology. It is about Ghana's future prosperity. It is anchored on 7 key areas. 1, fostering innovation and entrepreneurship, empowering startups, researchers, and developers to build blockchain-based solutions that solve real-world challenges. That's the 7 pillars. Please go back. Go back for me. The 7 pillars of Ghana's blockchain and digital asset future. Let's come back to studio. In the discussions, we'll bring this back, producer, and we'll look at each of these points one by one, the 7 pillars, and how we are going to, rally around it and be able to contribute to the progress of the economy. So we'll come back to this, but let me come back to you. The Web3, you're on that point. You just expand that for us. First one is just to be able to see the post. That's what you call the Web1. Second one is to be able to do the video calls, the interaction. And then you say the Web3 is a transfer of value to the owner. Please do explain that to me. And if we can have that slide also on screen.
Okay, so I've tagged on Web1, Web2, Web3. So let me mainly focus on Web3. So let's take it that you are a school teacher and then you are writing lesson notes. And then with that particular lesson notes, all the teachers in the school have access to a copy of that lesson note. Once they have access to the same copy, which is open and decentralized, if I am a teacher and I want to kind of edit whatever I have in mind, the rest that the ones have, the rest of the lesson notes will actually prove that, no, this was the original thing that has been copied in the lesson notes. So that brings us to blockchain. Blockchain is an open network, it's a decentralized network, and it's simply, whenever we talk about blockchain technology, don't think about any new thing, any humongous technology. It just means a distributed ledger. A ledger is simply a book for recording transactions. So with blockchain, you record transactions on the chain. So we call it on-chain. And these days, we say, I'm going online, I'm going online. We have actually moved from going online to going on-chain. So most young people in Ghana now, most of the people in our communities, you hear them saying on-chain because they're actually working on the blockchain or making sure that whatever they are doing is put on the blockchain. So it's simply a decentralized and distributed ledger where no single person has access to that information, but it's distributed on computers all around the world. So that makes it very open, very secure. And this can be applied in other aspects of the economy. When it comes to agriculture, when it comes to healthcare, when it comes to fintech, any other field that you want to know, blockchain is simply the internet of value that helps to keep records. And those records are immutable. So it's very difficult for someone to go back and then edit that. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. So are you telling me we are all using blockchain now, or what's the? Am I getting confused?
Thank you for the opportunity to be here and have this conversation. So for us at the Blockchain Bureau Association of Ghana, so a bit sidetrack. Blockchain started way back in 2008, and I remember I was a student then, where we all heard of the financial meltdown. Back in 2008.
Yes, I am the global economic recession. Yes, I remember clearly.
That was what kind of triggered a person, a group of people, we don't know who they were, with a name called Satoshi, to kind of come out with a white paper called the Bitcoin white paper. And that will give birth to what today is a global phenomenon. Now, Bitcoin was the first decentralized currency created by Satoshi and his group. We don't know who a particular that person is. And so, after almost 15 years now, the world is not just talking about Bitcoin. Other innovation has kind of come up. And today, the blockchain has gone beyond Bitcoin. We have more than 300 different cryptocurrencies today. It's just 1% of what for example, Facebook, Meta, Twitter, they are all not internet. They are fields running on the internet. So if you say Facebook is internet, that's not correct. The internet is a layer, it's an infrastructure that powers all these products. So the blockchain is a product that powers cryptocurrency. Fortunately, most of us, because we are not going deeper, the moment you hear blockchain, you conclude it's cryptocurrency.
So please take your time.
Yes.
Like he explained. Blockchain itself is not the cryptocurrency that we know.
No.
That people think we are going to invest and make money. No. And when the rate goes up, we make some money. More like an investment, like buying the treasury bill. That's what we have known of the cryptocurrency. And so when we hear the blockchain, we tend to think like that. That if I convert maybe 100,000 cedis into crypto, and the currency goes up or the rate goes up, maybe next year, by 1,000%, I'm going to make that amount of money and withdraw and be able to do business. And that's how lots of people understand it. But now, you're saying blockchain is not crypto.
Correct. Blockchain is never crypto.
How?
Blockchain is the infrastructure, the underlying infrastructure.
That crypto rides on.
That crypto rides on.
So like we have the internet space that if you need to get onto Facebook, maybe in your house or in the office, you need to first of all get onto the internet or the web, and then you're able to do Facebook. Yes. You're able to do Instagram. Yes. You are now saying that blockchain is a platform where if you want to use any of the cryptocurrency platforms, you have to get onto blockchain first. So that's how what you were explaining as a business setup, that it's of value where people can utilize. Is that, am I getting it clear?
Absolutely.
Please go on. Please go on.
So what we have observed in the last 10 years is that we've seen a rising desire, interest across the world, not only Ghana. And we have been to different communities, different areas of the world, and we've seen that, wait a minute, for the first time, we have a technology that can actually help Africa define the next 100 years our economic factors, factors of production, and change the way we are building our economies across the continent. I'll give a typical example. If you're born in Africa, for example, you are born in Ghana, you are born into a system that was built not for you alone. So you have a Ghanaian currency, which is the cedi. We have 54 countries in Africa. The cedi never communicates to the CFA, which is Togo and Benin and the Cote d'Ivoire. If you have Nigeria, which has the Naira never communicates to the cedi. But if you're born in America, it doesn't matter which state, 50 states, it doesn't matter which state you are.
It's the dollar you use.
Exactly. So as an African, you are already disenfranchised financially.
But we tried to introduce an ECOWAS currency.
Well, we'll get there.
We tried some time back. It's still in space anyway.
Exactly.
Currently, we have AFTA, the African Free Trade Area, and they should be pushing this agenda.
So for us, blockchain is, for me, I argue that blockchain is a technology for Africa. Those who actually invented blockchain, they didn't know that it was going to help Africa more than themselves. And now we have seen that we need blockchain more than the West.
But why do we need it?
That's a great question. The reason why we need it, for the first time in the history of our continent, after 60 years of independence across the continent, we've never interacted. Let's say I'm in Ghana. I've not been able to interact with somebody in Kenya. To say, let's say I have a friend in Kenya. He or he is desperately needs some support. I cannot send money straight away. But it's not so for European. It's not so for a North American. Why should it be possible for us? Another example, we have paper, which is an amazing financial innovation. If you're in Ghana, you are disenfranchised from using paper because of where you are.
Yes, the location.
Exactly. But I think the financial asset is a fundamental human right. And blockchain provides that access to us. Why? Because on the blockchain, for example, you are able to transact with anybody anywhere in the world freely.
Because it is internet-based?
It is
blockchain-based.
It's open to everybody. There's no gatekeeping like what we have today in the normal financial system that we have. There's gatekeeping. I mean, you have from Africa, there's some platform you can never access in your lifetime. Today, blockchain has given 1.4 billion people, 54 countries, one equal global access that you are not disenfranchised.
But are we that conscious of what you're telling us? As you are the association, so you should be doing the advocacy. And of course, you are the institution. Are we that conscious, maybe as Africans, as a country, as a continent, as a subcontinent, to use these platforms to be able to, I mean, I like the inscription, build borderless. We are talking about, I just cited after, borderless continents where I can sit here and do a business and have a market and get some Nigerians to buy without coming to Ghana. Get some people from South Africa to buy. Do the transaction online. I'm sure that's what you are telling me now. Are you advocating enough? Do people know?
Yeah, so I think that is the reason why we have started with this series of media engagement, to make sure that we shape the narrative in Ghana. So as you mentioned earlier, most people hear about blockchain, and the only thing that they know is cryptocurrency or Bitcoin, which they see as a scam. But then the technology goes way beyond that. So now we have started with a series of media engagements, and the media, you are our development and then our advocacy partners, so that we push the education out there, and then we let young Ghanaians know, not just young Ghanaians, but every Ghanaian know that this is a technology that can revolutionize whatever we are doing here. And you can even be in Ghana. There are job opportunities in blockchain technology, which I'll touch on later.
Right.
We have young Ghanaians who are actually making it just by sitting in the comfort of their home with electricity and internet connection, and making like lots of money with legit blockchain jobs. So this is the reason why we are doing some of these things, to push it out there, to get Ghanaians to know that, yes, there is this technology. Because if we decide to lay back and then not care about it, those who have actually, I'll start with our parents. When the internet came, they couldn't make good use of it. I don't blame them, because at that time they didn't have access to the phones, the smartphones and others. But now we, the young people, we have access to these things. Are we going to watch on while this thing just slips by our fingers, and then we end up blaming government again?
I remember my first computer, Pentium 2, laptop, and my father would always take it and hide it under the bed that I should go and study my books, and the computer itself would be there at the time. Anyway, so let me come back to you. There is the issue of security. You mentioned fraud. People think that when you talk about blockchain, you're finding ways and means to dupe people, and the cases on the internet now and all of those issues are problematic. I mean, how secure is this?
Yeah, thanks for that narrative. So, blockchain is arguably the most secured infrastructure today in the world. Just as today you have Metro TV, security personnel, I always say security personnel. Number one is personal before the group. But blockchain as an infrastructure that has been built, you do not have one central point of failure. Or the Web2 that we have today, we have huge corporations. We call them the Big Four or Big Six in Silicon Valley that controls your data, my data, and everyone's data running on virtual servers. What happens is that when there's a hack, it is one source that everybody targets. But with the blockchain technology, it is so decentralized that if you can hack my personal maybe wallet, but you cannot just hit the entire world. Imagine 1 billion people having computer in the world running decentralization. It's difficult for you to. So when it comes to the security of blockchain, it's most secured infrastructure we have today. But let me just point it out. We are here this afternoon to really begin to open up a conversation about the welfare, the future of young people. What is the last census that we did in 2020? At least 60% of our population is under the age of 30. By the end of this century, the African continent will have a population that 3 out of 5 will be someone like me in the world. We have the youngest population in the world, and we are the most significant market today in the world. And this data is not something that we should just look. We cannot use the same means of building economy that we have done the last 60 years to advance the next 60 years. So our call is that blockchain provides Africa a unique opportunity. We don't need to wait for example, World Bank, UN to kind of have a framework before we adapt. Ghana is a sovereign country. Africa as a continent, we are sovereign individually. Africa need to have a plan. We need to be intentional this time around, and we need to be deliberate about this innovation. For example, I'll give a typical example again. If you look at America, for example, there's a president called Donald Trump today. He's a 100% crypto guy. And his actions in the last 4 or 5 months is giving a kind of direction for crypto in the world. And America has one company called Coinbase. Some of you who doesn't know, for you to know that blockchain is not cryptocurrency, Coinbase is the first in the world to build a crypto exchange that is listed on the NASDAQ stock exchange. It's globally traded. It's billions of dollars in value. What I'm trying to say is that America as a country today is pushing for blockchain and then even issuing that they are going to have their reserve in Bitcoin. Most of their reserve in Bitcoin, which is being pushed. My point is that the Blockchain Association of Ghana, our core is that for the last 10 years, we've not seen this country from the executive side, the legislative side, the judicial side.
I like the fact that because I've just written down the issue about regulation and then your collaboration with the executive side. The Minister of Finance just spread the budget. And did you get the opportunity to make any input into it at all? And what's your plan? Are you just coming to Metro TV? Of course, when we say it here, they would get along. But have you made any effort? The executive side, the regulation side, and to make sure that the country is consciously having a concerted effort to participate in the blockchain?
Yeah, so a journey of 1,000 must start with the first step. The first step was last year. This association has been there for the last 3 years. All we did that we have been quiet, empower young people. In fact, we train more than 300 people, young people that they are all working remotely. Our Our journey has been simple, and we have been pushing for advocacy. Last year, before the election, we actually put up a paper that challenged all the political parties to have a case on their manifesto. We didn't see anything happen that way. And we have seen the budget being read. Our position is that Ghana is desperately in need of solution, bold and broader solution for young people to have opportunity. We need job creation. Blockchain provides a unique opportunity for us to train more than 1 million young people to have a skill set needed for the global world. There's a demand for blockchain developers. There's a demand for blockchain innovators. And Ghana is positioned. We have the most enviable democracy. And one of the benefits when I was doing university, one of my business classes, it says that investment, one of the anchors is stable democracy. For the last 32 years, we've practiced democracy, most stable. It's time for the ordinary Ghanaian to benefit from the benefit and the fruit of stable democracy, to actually incentivize outside investors to invest. I'll tell you something. There's a country called El Salvador. The president is leading the charge. There's a country called Argentina. The entire executive is leading the charge. And the last 3 years...
You mentioned Singapore as well.
Singapore. I'm just mentioning Argentina, El Salvador, because they're also developing countries.
Right.
Singapore is the first country. So to me, like, Singapore is already there. No, let's use a country that look like Ghana. Argentina look like Ghana. They're also not too well in terms of their inflation. The president, in the last 3 years, the president made a position. The body language of the president, the executive, the legislature is so positive. As I speak to you, the global blockchain companies, protocols, are investing millions of dollars into the Argentina economy. Our call is that we need to have a plan for Ghana. Because Ghana has all the boxes ticked to become the hub, not just for the regulation, but become a hub where blockchain innovation can thrive so that our young people can begin to have a voice. And that's what my company has done in the last 2 years. We set up a hub in Ghana here just a year ago. As I speak, we have incubated 10 projects from Ghana. Combined, they've raised over $300,000 in venture capital and grants, building one of the most innovative blockchain solutions for the world. One of them is called sarcasm. As I speak, they predicted the Ghanaian election 99% accurately. It's built on blockchain. They have over 200,000 global users built from Ghana here, from our hub. So our challenge this morning is not just about cryptocurrency. It's not just about regulation. We believe that the blockchain provides Ghana and the entire continent an opportunity, and Ghana has always been a leader. Ghana is a blaster line. Ghana is the face of Africa. Can we leverage our civil democracy and position Ghana, and for us
we should be able to, but I think that you guys should also be able to push enough to make sure the minister is listening to you, to make sure the Minister of Finance is taking this on. When he takes it on, it becomes a policy. And when it is a policy, it is inculcated in the budget. And when it is, then obviously once there is a budget line, or even if there is not a budget line, there is a policy action, the government and your entirety takes it on, then we can follow you.
That's why we're doing this. Together, because advocacy is a conversation. We need to have this kind of conversation across our media space, so that there are experts, there are people that have the knowledge to help the government draft a framework, a policy direction.
It's the next point I was going to come to. Is there a framework? Are you putting together a document? Are you making sure there is anything that if Atoforson is watching us, or the governor of Bank of Ghana is watching us, and they want to get you on board or begin discussions of any sort, you will be able to say that, yes, point number 1, you're going to do this. Point number 2, you're going to do this. Is there a framework?
Yes, so plans are far advanced with regards to that. So as we mentioned,
and you may want to include regulations too, because the framework would now include how the space will be sanitized, so that people who want to get on it will feel the confidence, or will have the confidence to be able to get on it. So yes, please.
Yes, so with the framework, we have started with consultations. So with the various blockchain communities that are in Ghana, we have come together, and then under BBAG, we are setting up that framework. Then the next move is to start visiting that's the ministries, because when it comes to blockchain, it's not just applicable to, say, one ministry. That's why it's supposed to be a national agenda. So it's just like you saying the internet has come, then I'm going to the Ministry of Youth and Employment just to push a policy on that. It covers every facet of the economy. So yes, plans are far advanced on that. And then we have also started with the media outreach. We have also started with visitations, and then we plan to actually move more on that and make sure that it reaches the various corners that we want it to reach, so that we have a national policy when it comes to blockchain in Ghana.
So, Eric, let me take your mind on that. We are rounding up. Our time is actually up, but let me take your, and I'm sure if producer can give me about 3 minutes, so we run through your points, those ones that we haven't captured, the 7 pillars. But let me take your mind on the regulation, and you've spoken about security also, though.
Regulation is something that we all are very concerned about. I don't believe that there's any nation that can stay in chaos. But you cannot regulate technology when you don't have full understanding, full scope. Our approach is that regulation is super important. It creates trust. It creates people to believe in it, because at the end of the day, we have government agencies responsible to ensuring that there's consumer protection, there's safety for everybody to benefit. However, our candid position is this. As a country, before we talk of regulation, we need to institute a kind of a very friendly environment for us to learn through it whilst we are building this product, so that people can begin to appreciate, and they can now, through the knowledge and experiences, we can now be able to put up structures and framework that enable us to protect. So regulation is number one. It's one part of it. Nobody can regulate just the internet. Internet is a free world for everybody. The part of the blockchain that can be regulated is the cryptocurrency, which I believe the central bank has done a good job in the last 2 years or 3 years, led by the fintech arm of the bank. I think they are doing a great job. They have a sandbox, which is doing something.
Have you met them yet?
Not yet.
You have to meet them.
Oh, not yet.
I mean, that's where my problem is.
Exactly.
You should be, because you are major players of the industry.
Matter of fact, one of our members is actually part of the committee
at the Bank of Ghana.
Yes, the committee.
By this time, the consultation should have gone on.
Yeah.
Either you have met them or they have met you. It should happen. That's a
it's a journey.
But let's go through your 7 pillar point. Let's see if there is anyone that we have to go into that we haven't discussed specifically. We will. You say number 1 is fostering innovation and entrepreneurship, empowering startups, researchers, and developers to build blockchain-based solutions that solve real-world challenges. So number 2 will be establishing network states and special economic zones, creating blockchain-friendly regulatory environments, tax incentives, and governance models to attract global pioneers. Tax incentives, let me stay on that point number 2, but this is fine. You want to touch on that briefly, the tax incentives?
Quickly.
And then we
yes, as government approach is to incentivize people to bring in money into the country. If an investor is bringing money, he needs to know that it's secured, it's protected, and he has leeway to operate.
And they can actually route it through
and
the
it's
blockchain.
Job creation. The more people have jobs, the more they can pay direct incomes and other taxes to the government. So you need to provide a certain level of 10-year tax-free for people to bring in money, because you need more dollars in the country. Once people have more jobs, the economy expands and everybody benefits. The government cannot concentrate on building other infrastructure like schools.
So you say point number 3, attracting global investments and talent, making Ghana the preferred destination for blockchain innovators, digital nomads, and investors by offering regulatory clarity and financial incentives. Point number 4, ensuring consumer protection and financial stability, crafting balanced policies that protect users while promoting responsible innovation in digital assets and decentralized finance, DEFI. Point number 5 will be leveraging blockchain for development, applying blockchain to sectors as finance, agriculture. Yes, that's important for me. We are concentrating primarily on the development of our farms, mechanization of our farms, the entire value chain of our farms to the offtake. And so if we're able to get involved in some of these things so that our farmers now can easily get their monies once they get on the farms, we'll be good as a country. Number 6 is empowering youth and local communities, investing in blockchain education, digital skills training, and entrepreneurship. Do you have any alliance with the young entrepreneurs, Ghana Startup Network, and so on and so forth? Because they should be part of you as well.
Yeah, we actually, work in collaboration with the Ghana FinTech Association, which is, has done a great job when it comes to the FinTech space. This advocacy is not just one-day conversation. We are looking...
Obviously.
Yeah,
we have to be able to follow you all the time. We have to be able to follow you all the time. And Kwame, anytime you're organizing anything, even if it's not myself, my team, the entire Metro TV team should also be part of it. And we promise to support once, we can vouch for the security of it. We promise to support and make sure that you are championing a very good agenda. Point number 7, let me see the final points at the pillar. You say driving sustainable and inclusive growth, aligning blockchain adoption with Ghana's environmental, economic, and social sustainability goals. And I'm interested particularly in that, the sustainability of the environment, the jobs and everything, climate change and everything that comes up with it. Let me give you your final words. My time is up, and not for the show. So if you are still watching us, this is the first segment. We are getting into the second segment where we have the discussion with the Minister for Jobs, Labor and Employment, Honorable Rashid Pelpo. But I will give my gentlemen here their last bite. So let me begin with you, Kwame, and then I will end with you, Eric. What should we be looking at moving forward? What's the future for blockchain and us as a country?
So the future for blockchain and for Ghana as a country, a broader stakeholder consultation, making sure that we have the various agencies coming together so that we have a national blockchain policy. And then we look at how best blockchain technology can actually solve the issue of unemployment. So I'll leave you with one thing. You remember the dancing Paul Beres during COVID time?
Yeah.
Ask yourself after COVID, where did they go? So that picture that became a meme that we all use was actually minted on the blockchain for $1.2 million. Yes, you can check the internet. And those guys, we don't see them again.
$1.2 million.
Yes, I spoke about ownership. So that meme belongs to them. They are like the bona fide owners of that meme. So they have been able to tokenize that meme with the help of someone, put it on the blockchain, and people have bought it for over $1.2 million. That's how blockchain gives you ownership and then control over your content.
And value also, money.
Exactly,
money.
Definitely. So in blockchain, we say GM, meaning no good morning, but get money. So it's a slang that we mostly use. GM, it
get
means,
money.
Yeah, get money.
General manager.
No good morning,
no
get
good
money. Yeah.
Right, so Eric, let me round up with you on that as well.
Running off, for us, it's a conversation. And national development starts with a simple conversation. So I'll give an example. In Sweden, the government actually pay people to be bored so they can have conversation. Can we start having conversation and be intentional? The future we are seeking to have, we cannot apply what we started from 1950 and achieve new results. To have new results, we need to be ruthless, we need to be intentional, we need to be bold, and blockchain provides us an opportunity to redefine and increase, double or triple our GDP. Today, the Ghana GDP, total GDP is about $80 billion. Airbnb, do you know Airbnb? Just 10 years ago, the founder was rejected by raising just $150,000 at $1.5 billion, $1.5 million. Today, Airbnb is $100 billion in value. That is, it is more than Ghana's economy. So technology provides an opportunity to triple our GDP. But we need to have a very sincere, honest, and open value conversation. It's not about where you belong. This country needs solution. Young people have all the skills, the talent, the drive, the energy. All they need is access.
Kwame Stalwart is the convener, Blockchain Builders Association of Ghana. Kwame, thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. And Eric Anan is the Chief Executive Officer, IRQ. Eric, thank you very much for joining us as well. So that does it for the first segment of the show this afternoon. I told you early on that in the running order, we have this conversation, and then coming up is the interview or the discussion with the Minister for Employment or the Minister for Jobs, Labor and Employment, Honorable Rashid Pelpo, who is also the Member of Parliament for the Wa Central constituency. We spoke about quite a number of things. You want to make time, take a seat, and enjoy the conversation.
Ama. Simi General Wobin enkoye kwao amama ye bohu se kontomra akija
Nancy me hu se me nyo basima kura ama me kunu ni me into kwankwa oyi why eni mo ko give us GC lecture and any capsules. I am boom and want some namokana. A bois in ma any memina. Na ma ba ye obesima. Na bear must why ye bear messima. Ya, we be Bawku. I'm a net giant sour the shell bottom. No when you yan and into sessing you or you chop one. Give us GC mixture and a capsule.
Appeal for a batter one more menu for one and Kwada if you do me.
Step up with DSTV and we'll show up by giving you more incredible entertainment.
Going to have a little fun.
Upgrade your subscription between the 13th of January and the 31st of March and get an even higher package for a whole month on us.
Buckle up, here we go.
There's nothing better than putting a little bit in but getting a lot out.
Time to boost some office morale. Incredible!
If you want to build a future, you gotta know what you want.
Step up and we'll show up on your home of entertainment, DSTV.
Attention all farmers, are you ready to take your crops to the next level? Introducing 3 effective organic composts that will revolutionize your farming practices. ACAP, KCAP and IRICOP brings to you the ultimate solution for your fertilizer needs. Introducing the ACAP Grade A, KCAP Equiafua Jinkwa and the IRICOP with cocoa blends, palm blend and mulch. These are made from locally sourced municipal solid waste. And these are the perfect choice for sustainable farming. Join the organic revolution today. Boost your crop yield, improve soil health, and support sustainable farming practices. Choose ACAP, KCAP, and IRICOP organic compost for a greener and bountiful harvest. For your purchase and more information, call the numbers on your screen. Our products are endorsed by COCOBOD, Planting for Food and Jobs, and the Ministry of Food and Agriculture.
Right, good afternoon. Thank you very much for joining us on the Business Edge on Good Afternoon Ghana. Well, this afternoon we have the privilege to be in the office of one of who I call my very own bosses. We've followed him for quite some time, for a very long period, I think from University of Ghana. And he's been in the Ghanaian political space, particularly focusing on how young people will get jobs, or maybe, let me say, the entire people who are ready, able, and looking for jobs are able to actually find jobs. His Excellency, the President, John Dramani Mahama, found him worthy, once again, to lead that fort. So the NDC came into government on the promise of employment creation, 1 million number of jobs in a certain number of years, and too many people relying on the fact that they will be able to get something to do at the end of the very first time of the government. And I would say it's a very sensitive area. The president feels that the man to be in charge to make sure that this happens for him and Ghanaians get job to do is the Honorable Rashid Pelpo. He is also the minister or the member of parliament for Wa Central. Today, we are in his office and we have a number of questions to ask him about how he's going to make sure that this vision and dream of the president is practicalized for the people of Ghana. We are going to ask him some issues about the youth. We'll ask him some issues about those whose appointments were revoked and how he's dealing with that and his means of creating jobs for the people of Ghana. CLOCSAG, Public Service Commission, and all of these state institutions, how he's dealing with them. And then you heard also about how he negotiated the percentage increment in salaries for workers in Ghana. And all of these issues would come up this afternoon. Let me say a very big thank you to him, and maybe good afternoon and welcome to our show, even though we are in your office. Honorable, I hope you're doing well.
Yeah, I'm doing well.
We saw you at the Economic Forum, and you were wild, running around making sure things happen.
Yeah.
How has it been so far?
Well, so far so good. And it's been a commitment to change the Ghanaian political scene and the economic forum or economic character of Ghana to produce more and to share, you know, meaning those who are working to get what they deserve and all that. So it's a huge commitment by the NDC under His Excellency John Dramani Mahama to restore the economic fortunes of this country and to make sure we put afoot a system that can be respected throughout the country and amongst the Committee of Nations. So we can have an economic Ghanaian, the Ghanaian youth will have confidence in, and the Ghanaian businessman will have confidence in, Ghanaian woman, business lady will have confidence in. So we can move along and change the generation yet to come.
I'd say there is quite a burden on your shoulder. I mean, looking at how sensitive your ministry is in the current space of economy that we find ourselves. You're barely 3 months in office. Even the president himself is barely 3 months, but there would still be the pressure and the calls for jobs. With your plan and vision and everything that you plan to do for the ministry and the entire country, are you on course? Is it going well?
Yeah, it's going on well. What we need to do and are doing is to make sure the economy is productive enough for people to get jobs, that we increase investment bigger enough to ensure that people are utilized, the skills of people are utilized, that we encourage more foreign investors rather than foreign loans into the country, for them to invest in critical areas to ensure that jobs are created. And so we are doing exactly that. You saw the economy, you heard the economy being read by the minister, and you know all the areas of his emphasis, and you know his determination to restore the economy to normalcy and to increase production and create more jobs. So it's a whole commitment to providing leadership that can have the effect of, you know, increasing job production in Ghana.
Honorable Minister, you mentioned the encouragement of foreign investors to come in, obviously to set up businesses, recruit more people, and expand the employment eco space. We've seen that's one of the things you are trying to do. We've seen the Finance Minister mention the Jumeirah, mention the National Codes Program, mention the National Apprenticeship Program. Lots of plans to create more jobs and expand the space. But are you able to outline for us your specific plans, projects, activities, or how you want to go about this whole process of creating jobs for the people of Ghana?
Well, we have specific areas we have put in our manifesto, like get a women's development bank, give loans to women, get them to work, have youth entrepreneurship programs, support them to establish themselves by exploring their potential, training them and giving them money to go and establish themselves, ensure that there is an emphasis in setting up agriculture centers, you know, provide machinery and other equipment to farmers, people who want to go into farming. All of that are going to increase the job output in this country. And beyond that is the fact that we have lots of skills in this country who are within the country are unable to get the kind of job that can be paying enough. You know, we still want to provide situations where you can even go out of the country and still be able to work and earn.
Yesterday you launched the Work Abroad program.
Yes.
With the Youth Employment Agency.
Yes.
Well, let me begin from there. What's that specifically? What do you want to achieve with that? And what's the mode of operation for that program? So let's maybe begin our conversation from there.
Well, it is to take advantage of the many young people who are unemployed. By the time we took office, we have up to 15% of young people who are unemployed. If you go down to the age of 15 and beyond, the sector called youth, there are about 29% of them are unemployed.
The data goes up from the 15 to about 29.
Yes. So you see that there is a big lock of unemployment in this country. And how do we deal with it? Many Ghanaians are looking for opportunities to work somewhere. And several of them are joining trains to go through the desert and often will die on the way or are treated in a manner that is undesirable. So we are providing an opportunity for those young men who have that that feeling that, look, they can work elsewhere. Rather than passing through unusual, unacceptable routes, we create an opportunity for you. We sign agreement with bilateral countries, get them to respect the young man coming from Ghana or the young lady coming from Ghana to come and work in their country, show them the kind of respect as we have put in our labor law, and then pay them adequately. And so when they get there, they are given the due respect, and then they can come back.
One important area is the domestic workers. We see videos on social media, and people from Ghana are being maltreated in places where they go to work. Is this part of
I have, in my ministry, I have announced, and I'm pursuing it, that I'm not going to accept any domestic worker from Ghana. No domestic worker program. I'm not going to sign anything. I won't tolerate it. I won't grant any leave to anybody to take domestic workers to anybody's house.
Outside the country?
Outside the country.
Oh, so, but is this out? This is news to us. You have signed, or you have stated that under your ministry and under your tenure,
yes,
you are not going to allow any institution to send out anybody in the name of
domestic workers to go and stay in somebody's house. They will take your passport, they maltreat you, they give you all the worst treatment you can, anybody can ever receive. And then in the end, you come back home dejected, destroyed,
demoralized, and so on and so forth.
Your whole humanity destroyed. I mean, so that cannot be tolerated.
At all. You are not doing that at all.
At all.
So, well, some people felt that it could be maybe formalized government-to-government arrangements, and then they are monitored.
Not domestic workers, and not to the Gulf.
Right.
Where we got all the challenges I'm seeing, at least the Gulf has shown us that they can't handle domestic workers, not from Ghana. So we are not going to endorse that. I'm not going to endorse that.
That's super. That's super. But for teachers, for health workers, nurses, and so on and so forth,
yeah, we can work along those areas, allow them to go, sign contracts, like 5 years contracts, work after 5 years. If you feel like coming to Ghana, take your passport and come back to Ghana, build your house and stay, or come and set up your business, and then take control of your own life. But a situation where they go and forever they are staying there is not what we are working at.
Super.
Go and stay there. Several people don't even know how to come back because they go there illegally. They work for 5 years or so in order to get permission. After getting the permission, they now want to work because they were working at very low earning jobs, and now that they got their permission, they now want to spend another 5 years, and by the time they realize they are old there. So this time round, it is a formalized system of labor migration, international migration, an agreement signed with the countries, and I'm insisting also an agreement signed with the company sending them, that they are going to be shown the kind of respect we expect every Ghanaian to be shown, and they have a space of time to work. If they want to come back home, they come back home. And that's what we want to make sure I like
the fact that you use the technical terms, labor migration and so on and so forth. Some people would have thought that maybe this is just a political gimmick. You're just doing politics with the young people. You are telling us you give us the opportunity, but you are telling us you'd be able to do this.
Oh, I just launched the program yesterday.
Yesterday, yes.
Lots of companies are approaching me. And I'm vetting them. I want to make sure these are companies that will not take the Ghanaian youth somewhere and he'll be found wanting. We are vetting them, we are getting them properly, understood, after which we grant them permission, and then they would take them. We insist they are trained here to understand the culture they are going to go into, and when they go there, then they will have their freedom to work and come back.
Some one would ask, will this not amount to brain drain?
But that's why I'm explaining that we have a certain number of Ghanaian youth who are unemployed. It's huge, getting up to 30%. And if we decide to keep them here for 4 years whilst looking for an economy to grow for them to get job, it is a national security problem.
Yes.
Anything can happen.
Yes,
they go do something, you imprison them, or they go do something, it costs somebody his life and all that and all that. So why don't we give them an opportunity to work and be able to come back home and set up on their own? Every country, it's not just Ghana doing it. Other countries have done it and very successfully. Ethiopia has been doing it for more than
Philippines has been doing
50 years now.
Yes.
The Philippines have been doing it for God knows how long. You know, and their countries are being rewarded for that. I understand some of the rewards in several countries are even more than the oil products.
It's one of the things that I was going to ask you about, the revenue mobilization. We have those of us who have a relative here and there in other parts of the world who are sending monies back to the country is a huge part of the economy, the monies that they send back. So, I mean, I'm sure that you have captured all of these, even though it's an early call yet. You're now putting together documents, but I'm sure that either you have captured or you will capture that also for revenue mobilization into the country.
It's a key thing that emerges as a result of this whole thing, you know, because as you try to help young people find where they can unleash their potential and be able to earn a living, it has a positive repercussion on government or on the economy. That as they earn and as they repatriate money back into this country, the country benefits.
Yes.
Yeah, and the benefits has a positive impact on the growth of the economy, and so it's a two-way affair. The personal affair in which the person benefits, and the larger one in which the whole country benefits. So we want to explore the two of them.
You're doing this with the Youth Employment Agency. It was previously under your ministry.
Yes.
And I'm sure it would have been easy for you doing this as an agency under your ministry. I mean, getting this done that easily. Now it is not under you.
No. It's under the Ministry of
Youth Development and Empowerment. Are you okay with that?
Well, that, you know, we work as a government, and what we are doing is to reflect on what we sold to Ghanaians. Our idea was to address key issues about young people, and so we built this we set up this ministry to do exactly that. And we set them up not because you know, so that we can have them perform a certain duty, and it requires a lot of investment. And this is an already existing investment where a certain amount of our call tax, you know,
goes to them. That's to them. Communication service tax.
Communication service tax, and it is substantial.
Yes.
So,
but they should be under you. The Act puts them under you. They specifically are supposed
to act?
The YE Act, the Youth Employment Agency Act.
Oh,
puts them under the ministry.
No, I don't think
of employment and labor. So maybe it will be an executive instrument that will move them. But whichever way, they are supposed to create employment. That their core mandate, as I read, is that they are supposed to create, maybe facilitate jobs for young people in Ghana, which is directly under what you are supposed to do, or under your direction as a minister.
It is. But you see, if we say so, we will say the whole of the Youth Employment Agency should have been under the Ministry of Employment.
All the institutions that are related to creation of employment
and all that. I mean, it is, and mostly what I'm doing is also to provide the support, the policy on jobs and employment, to give the ministry that direction and to encourage investment in those areas. So it is a multi-sectorial kind of approach.
It's a question I was going to ask anyway. Your collaboration with
Yeah.
the new ministry and all the other institutions under them.
Yeah.
And for you, yours will be about the data at the end of the day. When we come back to you, we'll be asking you how many jobs have you been able to create as a country or as a government in the last 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. And you as a minister. And that's how come I started asking you what your plan is and what your target is. But are you able to give us data maybe by the end of this year?
Of course.
How many jobs we should expect?
Yeah, I'm trying to do that. And so I'm contacting all the agencies. They would provide me with the jobs they have created so far. We also have, we are setting in motion the Ghana Labor Information Market Information System, which is a system that has all the agencies in Ghana, all the departments in Ghana, as much private sector as we are capturing, all of it input there. And all the jobs they are creating also input there. All those that are functional jobs are also in there. So you open it, you open to any department, you see the job opportunities there, and you see the number of jobs that are already occupied. Now, this is going to capture the totality of our market, our labor market, and will enable a student who has just finished school
be able to determine whichever area. Yes.
So in the end, we can then, with just a stroke of a keyboard, be able to find out how many jobs are available, how many jobs are occupied, and all that and all that. So we are working on that.
But before that, can you tell us your projection? How many jobs you expect to create by the end of the year?
I'm not going to, I can't have that projection right now, but I hope that it's not going to be small. We're going to have a huge number of jobs being created. And if you ask me this by the middle of the year, I'll be able to tell you. The reason being that we are putting in place systems.
Yes, like you mentioned.
When they are functional, then the jobs roll in. And some of them are not pinpointed areas, you say 5 jobs here, 10 jobs here. These are areas where, as a result of the input of a particular system, is going to open up for jobs to be created. So by the end of the year, within the middle of the year, we would have been able to guess the number of jobs that would be created at the end of the year.
Let me move into the informal sector. One of the biggest problems we have as a country is the informal sector. Being able to get the data on them, being able to, even their taxes, and all of the issues. You have a specific agenda for the informal sector. We see or we hear most of the times politicians talk about the training of artisans, the formalization of the informal sector, and so on and so forth. Is there a specific plan for them?
There is. The informal sector is the one that moves the economy the most. They are very, very strategic to the economy. And these are people who are very creative, who are imaginative, who are capable of moving society towards achieving a certain objective. And as a result, earning money out of it. You know, so they create value by just thinking and investing. So that informal sector is the one that we are looking at to do much of the job creation, provide support for them. Some of them want security, simple. Others want money. Others want personnel to increase their output. So if you are able to create all this, they can function. So we are looking at all that. We are looking at how to provide funding for them so that they can, you know, those who want to come into the sector can do so and be able to produce. And we also are looking at the possibility of giving them pension, providing them with the what we call private pension, where you can contribute and be able to earn something at the end of your working life. Or if at a certain point in your life where you would have saved enough to be comfortable that when you exit out of the job, you will not be in, your life will not be in ruins. So we are working very closely to make the informal sector more productive and make them more comfortable in doing what they are doing.
Is there any specific agenda for the agri sector as well? There is the entire agricultural value chain from the farming to its transportation, to its mechanization, to its processing, to off-taking and all of the things that come with agri. But if you look at the country's projections over the years, our GDP and our statistics is gradually moving away from an agri-based economy or agri-support-based economy now to the oil. The oil cannot support us entirely. We are almost leaving agri. Galamsey is killing our cocoa and so on and so forth. Do you have any specific plan towards that?
The plan is already obvious. A whole ministry concerned with agribusiness. Agribusiness.
Agribusiness.
Yes. Where agricultural products will be transformed from one point to the other and made much more attractive and will earn more. So there's a huge enterprise on that. We know that a huge number of the Ghanaian, our Ghanaian folk are in agriculture. It forms about 55% of our input. So so we have taken note of that, and there's a lot of emphasis on it. You've also heard us talking about setting up agriculture mechanized centers. So where we can provide the equipment and provide the farm inputs and allow people who are interested to go in and be able to have easy access to these inputs and produce more. So these are areas that we are having a deep insight in it, because we know that it is going to have a direct impact on the
jobs that will be created within the sector. And I was going to ask about Galamsey as well, even though that's under the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources. I'm sure you still should be interested, because each sector of the economy, I have always said that employment is the backbone of the economy. Whatever happens anywhere, you are there, because there is one job, two jobs being created in that part of the economy. Galamsey as well, what's your interest in it?
Galamsey is, the fact that we call it Galamsey, which is equal to illegal business, illegal mining, is the worry. Otherwise, private mining that enables us to produce more gold, there's nothing wrong with it. But in doing so, with people who even take legitimate licenses to operate, they still go to mine illegally. You can be given a concession and you can be allowed to mine in the area. But where you go to mine in and wash in a river, destroy the land, cut the cocoa trees, do all the bad things that you are supposed not to have been doing, then you are engaged in an illegal mining, even though you have a legal certificate. So generally, we are not against the fact that people want to mine. I like to see Ghanaian businessmen going into mining rather than these foreigners who come take the thing away. But I want the Ghanaian businessman to know that this is my country.
Yes.
Once I mine, I have to protect it.
And reclaim the land.
And
also.
reclaim the land, to make sure a next generation will come and will not be found wanting. So ask yourself, why is it that the big countries like the United States are not destroying their country and allowing, and then all of a sudden, and they think that it is us who have to do it. They have more timber than Ghana, but they are not cutting their trees. Germany has more timber than Ghana. They are not cutting the trees. Why are they not cutting their trees? Because they care about the future of the country. You see, the earth and what it produces defines all life. Once you take away what makes up the earth, life becomes a problem. The meaning of life then becomes a big issue to be defined. So if you are unaware that your life is directly linked with the product of the earth, you destroy the earth, you destroy yourself. But that's what we are not aware of. Our businessmen don't think that the river has anything to do with our lives. They just destroy it. They don't think that the cocoa, which has been provided the economic stay of this country for years, long before independence and after independence, they don't think it's necessary because they want to find gold. So the mental attitude of business towards the environment must be questioned and must be rearranged in such a manner as we can show responsibility once we produce.
Right.
If we do so, then Galamsey will be fine. We can allow them, we won't even call it Galamsey anymore.
We'll just say small-scale mining.
Small-scale mining, you know. And there will be, because right now, as I'm talking to you, the biggest impact on our economy is on mining.
Right.
Yeah. It's the biggest. It has overtaken oil. It has overtaken cocoa. It's now Galamsey. It's now mining. And if mining is properly cultured, then we can earn a lot.
If you're just watching us, we're having an interview with the Venerable Dr. Rashid Pelpu, Member of Parliament for Wa Central. And he's also the Minister for Labor, Jobs and Employment here in Ghana. And we are having a very insightful conversation this afternoon. This is Business Edge on Good Afternoon Ghana. This is where you want to be when you want to hear about business or employment or about aviation, transport, anything in the world of business. Stay with us, we'll be right. This is
hugely. So you look at the analysis, look at the inflation. Inflation has not increased substantially. It is even on a reduction spree. In the past, it used to go so high. Imagine inflation going from 20% to 54%. And then the workers will ask for more. You can't explain. So what do you want them to do if you can't explain? Give them 30% or 20%.
So the increment is juxtaposed to these standards, inflation rates, the exchange rates, and the living conditions, and so on and so on.
Yeah, and all those things. So you look at all this, and then you do your calculations, and they will get to understand. But even so, the magic was also done by the president. His I don't know, his humble approach to it. I called the president and I said, through the Minister of Finance, I said, look, let's get a president. And then whilst I sit there, he went to call the president and said, look, the minister wants you to come at this time. Because
that
we're
was
in
strategic.
a critical
Very
moment.
strategic.
Come and help, let's negotiate. He just took his car and came. He said, no security. When he said he was coming, security people came there. He sat in his office and heard that. He said nobody should be there. They should clear the place. They cleared the place. He just drove in there, sat in the meeting, and then he supported a 10% increase. The workers, well, in respect to him, Excellency coming to negotiate
himself,
they said, well, the minister had already told us, so we have come to understand that we are in a difficult period in our economy. Apart from all this, I said the economy was still, or at the point was still crawling, and they decided to agree with us.
So, is there any anticipation of an increment maybe at the next tripartite meeting? We've asked them to tighten their belts. They've agreed to tighten their belts. Moving forward, what do you see, and by what percentage?
And why do we tell them to tighten our belts and when we are not? And we are also tightening our belts.
Yes.
We are also tightening our belts. The president reduced the number of ministers.
He promised a lean government, 60 ministers. He's done that.
Remember when the last executive, they had more than 1,000 people at the Flagstaff House, presidential staffers, more than 1,000. The president is keeping like 43 now. Can you imagine that? Just a small number, And he's taking key steps to make sure we have tightened our belts. We are moving into an austerity measure to make sure we don't spend too much. He has decided not to buy vehicles for ministers. Use your car. If you're a member of parliament and you have a car, use it. That's what he authorized. No purchase of vehicles. Let's make sure we demonstrate to the worker in Ghana we are concerned and that we are working towards a situation where we can all have it. Yeah.
Let me ask you this, and then you can run away. Honorable, what's happening with CLOSAC? Are they coming back to work? You had a meeting with them.
Yeah. Yes. 2 days ago, I had a meeting with CLOSAC. That was the second meeting I held with them, and I have appealed to them to give up their strike. They have listened to me. They told me they will get back to me.
Are you sure they are going to give it up?
Hopefully they will.
Are they returning to work when?
I told you, the Ghanaian worker, they are very, very understanding, very objective when you tell them the truth. And they have a key reason to go on strike, which is that they feel that the president cannot appoint somebody who has a political color into civil service.
Yes.
But it will require a lot of talking. But the Constitution, knowing that, still gave power to the president to appoint.
Yes.
The president himself is a political color. And you say appoint somebody. Now, God, obviously. How do we describe God? We said that God has some features, and he created a human being with those features.
Yes.
Then you have a political person, and you say appoint somebody.
In his own image.
So, but if you say, look, with all this, you still say that the president shouldn't do it.
Yes.
And we can begin talking about it. And we found in the Constitution that the president says, the Constitution says, president, do this, without telling the president not to do this. Now, the opportunity is to go to the Supreme Court to verify it. They said, yeah, they have gone to the Supreme Court. And I tell them, yes, that's true. You went to the Supreme Court. What did the Supreme Court say? He said that the Supreme Court says that if you are a worker, a civil service worker, you don't have to show political colors. They showed examples of Jeula and other people who showed political colors. And I said, yeah, that's true. Did the Constitution and with that law, did the Supreme Court say that the president should not appoint anybody with that? No. But it says that when you are appointed there, you don't show it. So not when the president is about to appoint.
When you are appointed.
And you are
so
in
it's
office.
A matter of before and then after.
And I told them this controversy will still have to be settled. So whilst it's still not settled, let's sit down and talk. The president says he will listen to you. He's a person who wants to create an opportunity for everybody to strive in this country. So he will listen and give me space. Let's continue talking and until we get to a point when we can both be happy that a certain decision is taken. So they have listened to me. I got them to write a petition. I replied to their petition. I have written a second letter to them. I went ahead and organized a meeting. I've organized another meeting, and there's yet another meeting to come. And that is going to be communicated to them. It's very important for me. This last meeting is very important for me. But I hope before that last meeting,
the strike
would have gotten.
Or they will.
I mean, but just imagine, you are out of work for 2 weeks. The national cake, which we are all building to share, is going down. How do we ask for more? When at the end of the year, there's such a big gap in our inputs to build the cake.
I agree.
Yeah.
Honorable,
yes.
Thank you very much. There is hope for the Ghanaian worker.
Thank you. Yes, a lot of hope.
There is hope for the Ghanaian worker.
Yes. As the economy strives, there's huge hope for the Ghanaian worker.
Thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much.
Thank
so
you.
That's the Honorable Minister for Jobs, Labour and Employment. He's also the Member of Parliament for WA Central. He's allowed us into his office this afternoon to be on Business Edge on Good Afternoon, Ghana. My name is Kwesi Free. It's been nice hosting the minister in his office. And remember that we would always follow him. We would always be with him. And we'll be reporting to you the progress as he makes, maybe every quarter or every period that we require to bring you updates of what's happening here at the Ministry of Jobs, Labour and Employment. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Once again, Honorable, for allowing us in. We appreciate your time. And we understand the pressure also on you from lots of people who want to have your attention. So, thank you very much for watching. This is Metro TV. Good afternoon.
Hajikon Ado, and no matter to what a tefo don't tabansiri by me from Kodidina on Yaseda, Ima Demrifa.